Ooh-wee! We're back in the saddle again as we revisit 2002 and a film about an artist brought down in his prime, punished for caring too much, not appreciated in his time. I'm kidding. It's a film about the loneliest man ever that isn't Elon Musk. This is part 2 of our dive into 2002, the year Robin Williams broke bad. It's time to talk about 1 Hour Photo today on... Oh man, this movie, there is a lot to talk about here. Before we get into all of it, first I got to introduce my co-host, internationally renowned, literary ne'er-do-well, rapscallion.
Thank you.
Becky Franzel. How you doing? How you doing, Bex?
Pretty great.
Are you?
Yeah, pretty great.
That's so good to hear.
How about you?
Oh, I'm doing as best as I can be after watching this movie. It is sunk into my skin. Truly one of the creepiest movies.
Yeah.
I think I've ever seen. It's a perfect time to revisit it though, I think, not only because of the anniversary of Williams' death 10 years ago, which is why we're doing this in the first place. But because all of its primary themes are in some way being discussed, like right now in the culture, you know, from the return to film usage and development and developing labs having a resurgence, to more limited tech like point and shoots. It all is like a direct response to like pixel pushing and wallet breaking releases from major camera companies. Like for a great camera, you're looking at pushing $3,000, and it's kind of a response to that. We're also like the damage of the modern iteration of parasocial relationships. You know, we're talking about Chappell Roan and other artists who are uncomfortable with people pretending like they know them. The soul-crushing loneliness of being seen by people but not being known. Like all of the themes of this movie are playing out right now in our culture, and it's crazy to watch it from a modern perspective, because I would have thought that it was quaint.
Well, and I also thought it'd be less creepy because we live in a creepy society now. Like if Psy wanted to creep on somebody, he could just go to their Instagram page, right? And just look at their pictures.
Absolutely. Before we move further, let's be a brief overview of the plot. Robin Williams plays Psy, Seymour Parrish. He's a photo developer at what's
Save Mart,
which is Walmart, but it's a Save Mart. He takes an immense amount of pride in his ability to deliver perfect prints to his customers. He takes a particular interest in one family, the Yorkins. A particular interest is an understatement. He's obsessed with them. He believes that he knows them because he's been developing their photos since the beginning of their relationship.
Calling himself Uncle Psy.
And then shenanigans ensue. He takes it a little too far. He keeps trying to implicate himself into their lives to the degree that he gets mad, viscerally mad at the husband for having an affair, and he tries to enact his own kind of justice there. I mean, that's kind of a basic overview of the plot. It's a 90-minute, no-fat thriller, but there's so much going on underneath the surface of this thing, and most of it is in Robin Williams' performance.
Do you want to know a little bit of trivia?
Oh, we're going to start with trivia. Let's start with trivia.
Well, I was just looking here on
1 hour trivia. Let's do it.
I was just looking on this IMDb page here, and apparently 15 minutes into the Sundance screening of it, people reportedly forgot that it was Robin Williams playing Psy, which is an interesting addition to the conversation we were having, where it's such a deviation of his normal roles, right?
Well, that's the thing, is like it's insane. It's still a striking performance filled with subtlety and little tiny nuances. Just the way that he uses his face, the way that he dyed his hair, the way that he is a complete deviation from what we knew from him. Because, but at the time, it was insane. It was insane to see him like this, because when we talked about Death to Smoochie last time, he was playing a villain for sure, but he was still doing the Robin Williams shtick.
He was colorful.
He was yelling, he was improvising, he was wild, he was manic. This was
beige.
It was incredibly difficult to wrap your head around this being Robin Williams, because all of that mania became interior. It was an interior pain that he was feeling. You could see in his eyes how lonely he was. Mm-hmm. And you talk about, if you listen to people talk about Robin Williams, they'll tell you that if they performed with him, he would go all out for like an hour. And then you'd catch him in the green room and he would just be sitting there, stone-faced, unable to like process. He just gave everybody everything and he's got nothing left. And he was incredibly lonely. And, he's the poster boy for depression. I mean, there's a whole conversation to be had about that. But, he was depressed a lot. And a lot of it was he gave everybody else everything he had. And that person is who was present in this thing. From the moment the camera lands on him the first time, you can tell that this is an incredibly sad, lonely man.
Well, even accentuated by the fluorescent lighting, accentuated by the all white and the beige, right? The use of color.
The use of color in this movie is extraordinary. It's directed by Mark Romanek, who was maybe the 90s music video director du jour. He did 9 Inch Nails, Closer, and The Perfect Drug. He did Bedtime Story by Madonna. He did 99 Problems with Jay-Z, Speed of Sound by Coldplay, an incredible video, Criminal by Fiona Apple, Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. But if you remember him for any video, he's the one who did the video for Johnny Cash's Hurt, which is maybe the most beautiful video ever for a song ever made, that captures the essence of 60 years of a man's career and kind of the artificiality of collection, of holding on to things, because it takes place inside of his museum. Some of it was wrecked by flooding, and it's just all rotting away, just like he rotted away. And he died shortly thereafter. I mean, there was nothing more for him to do. So Mark Romanek, an award-winning photographer, has released a number of books, was presented in a number of places. He wrote and directed this, and it is very clearly directed by a photographer.
Yeah.
A man who knows color theory, because he's the Yorkins, the family that he's obsessed with, have a colorful life. Everyone's vibrant reds, vibrant yellows, vibrant blues, but Cy's life stripped completely of color. There is not one, except the only color in his life are the photos that he gives people. When you see him at Save Mart, which is lit fluorescently and there's bright blues everywhere, he sucks the color out of everything, every room that he's in. Mm-hmm. It's nuts.
Well, and it was interesting how he got into a fight with the tech about the blues, right?
That's a great
level
scene.
Of blues.
Because he's, I as a photographer, I am obsessed with color, and I'm obsessed with the accuracy, and it's almost, watching this as a creator, you can almost understand his passion for perfection.
Well, right.
But it's so minuscule. And the manager at Save Mart, played by the master of creepy, overbearing, superficial managers, Gary Cole. He was also the guy who was in Office Space. What was his name? What was his name in Office Space? Loudon?
I don't remember.
Who knows? Bill Lumberg, that's what it was. Lumberg. He tries to explain to Cy, because Cy takes like 90-minute breaks because he's busy staring at prints
Nina?
that he stole of the family. Mm-hmm. So he takes 90-minute breaks. He's starting fights with people, and like he's starting fights with this guy over like a 3% a 0.3 deviation in the cyan.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy the manager is trying to explain to him, dude, you are making prints for people who shop at Save Mart. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about this. He's like, I care. Okay, well, that's because you need something to care about. You care about nothing. No one cares about you. I love that scene too. When so later in the film, it's revealed that there are hundreds and hundreds, like thousands, of prints unaccounted for, and we'll get to one of my favorite scenes and where those prints went. But the manager says, "I'm not going to get in trouble for you fucking up our operation, fucking up people's prints," and it's the one time until later you see Robin Williams or Cy show any emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Is when he gets up out of the chair. He's like, I've never fucked up anybody's prints. The 11 years I've been here. It's like intense. You think he's going to stab the guy.
Well, I mean, there's that, like I think everyone's noticed it. Like, I know I used to work at a grocery store, and I remember there was this one guy who used to come through and buy teen magazines, and it was always a little weird, right? But nobody would ever say anything because there was that, like, there's that weird, unsettling feeling you get around that person where you're not sure how this will proceed if you say anything.
How old was he?
Oh, he was like in his 40s.
Oh, that's like the plot of Happiness, Todd Solondz Happiness.
Right.
Have you ever seen Happiness?
No, I haven't.
One of the most disturbing films ever, about a guy who buys teen magazines and jacks off in his car. And
yeah, I mean, I think there's something a little off with him, which is why it wasn't like a total red flag, but there was like an unsettling, like he bought chocolate milk and he bought the magazine and he always went to my aisle because I always talked with him, right? But there's like that smile that Cy does, right? Like and how are you doing today? And going just a little bit too far with conversation, where it's like, even when he's in his control, he can't completely control it, right?
Mm-hmm. He always goes just a bit too far.
Mm-hmm.
There's that scene. So Nina Yorkin, the wife, is reading a Deepak Chopra book, and Cy notices that sticking out of her bag. So he buys a copy of that book and then magically runs into her at the food court. And when she says she has to leave, when she's not looking, he pulls out the book, pretends to be reading it just so she can engage in conversation. I'm pretty sure that's where the first time he calls himself Uncle Cy.
It is, yeah. I think he did it before he started reading, though, and it was like a flub where she was like, like, no.
And then she's like, we had so many pictures, we'll probably be by to drop them off. Oh, lucky for us. You can tell that she is, like what you were saying when you had engaged with this guy, super creeped out, but wants to be friendly, can feel the line being crossed,
mm-hmm.
but doesn't know what to do about it because there's no context for it. Well, I could have just run into this nice guy. It is a small town.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the danger of loneliness, right? Like, it can turn people into very strange versions of themselves, or they could just be looking for a friend. You honestly don't know, right?
Right, but those two can definitely commingle because it's not anyone's responsibility to be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
And people are so desperate for friends. I mean, I was joking about Elon Musk in the intro.
No, that's exactly it. That's exactly who I was thinking of.
But, like, he is a quintessentially pathetic man. So desperate for friends. So desperate for the quarterback to like him.
Mm-hmm.
But he needs the quarterback to like him, and he also needs teen TikTok creators to love him.
Right.
He needs everybody to love him, and there's a gaping void that no amount of affection can fill. And his public desperation for admiration, for acceptance, for someone to tell him he's the coolest, funniest guy in the world. If he didn't have as much power, he would be Cy.
Right.
He is Cy.
He is Cy. I mean, I remember I found out that it was going around for a while. I'm not sure if it was a rumor or not, but I believe it because it makes sense. He was following like a Grimes lookalike account. She's like an OnlyFans girl who looked exactly like Grimes. And that makes sense to me because he was just looking for that connection but didn't know how to make that, it was just lonely. That's the loneliest thing.
He is, it's we joke about him because he is like the most divorced man ever. His inability to wrap his head around complex themes of humanity, like, I know a guy got divorced, can't handle it, so he has to look for all of these reasons why he got divorced that aren't, I just have the shittiest personality, right? There's no self-reflection in there because money, power, and time alone has warped your ability to self-reflect.
But even Sai doesn't have that experience, right? He's just always been alone.
He's just always been alone,
like even
right?
when he pulls out the picture, air quotes, of his mother in the food court, it's just a picture of a woman he found at the used goods sale, right?
That's
so that shows like he's been alone for a while.
I love the way that the information is revealed. There's a lot of misdirection, expertly crafted misdirection in this. And that's one of them, because it looks like he's just looking through photos, collecting photos because he likes photos, and it turns he just picks this yearbook photo from like the 1950s, and he keeps it. And he thinks he's just going to use this, just as a nice photo, but he uses it he pulls it out of his pocket to craft a narrative so that Miss Yorkin isn't creeped out by him. There are people in his life.
Well, and it's interesting, too, because what he talks about how people take pictures of the things that they want to see, right? But you never get to see the details or, like, the things that make up humanity. And that's kind of how he crafts his stories, too, right? He creates this image of what he thinks people will want to see.
Right, because nobody wants to see a man with nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that somehow, but it's interesting that we're in the perspective of Sai, because we don't know how that appears to other people, right? Like, the veil has been lifted for us because we see his side only. We don't see how it's perceived by others.
Yeah, he works in the middle of the city. He drives what appears to be a half an hour to get to work. He creates this idea that he's just this jovial guy who just loves making people happy. He doesn't want anyone anywhere close to his apartment or to what his interior or his exterior life is, interior and exterior. And that's because, go back to how he was caught stealing prints, essentially, thousands of extra prints, because this is my favorite shot in the movie. Now, I remember it coming later in the movie, but it happens pretty early on.
You're talking about the reveal? The
reveal as it pulls back from his chair as he's watching TV. And I love how they're like, this guy is sad because he's watching an episode of The Simpsons from its best season ever, and he doesn't.
That's what I was thinking too.
He doesn't crack a grin.
Yeah,
like this is some of the best writing the show has ever had.
The die Bart
like,
die. The die Bart die.
Yeah.
Ah, somebody's coming to kill me. Oh wait, no, it's for Bart. Great.
And it pulls back, and he's got an entire wall that is covered in pictures of the Yorkins from the beginning of their relationship, before their son was born, all the way up into his development. Adorned all over his house is framed pictures of the Yorkins. Almost
and
all
other people too. There's some other people, which is very, very unsettling.
Were there other people?
Yeah, on the bedside table, or there was a little table of like the framed pictures, and there was some other. There was like maybe I'm wrong on that actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, because there was the Christmas card that was the Yorkins.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just the Yorkins, that he just printed out thousands of copies of the Yorkins photos.
Okay, never mind. Disregard me. I think, yeah, that's correct.
Also, side note, I love that this idea, there's a subplot. Well, that's a subplot. The plot of their family is it's Will and it's Nina and it's, what was their kid's name? Jake. And Jake and Nina, or Will and Nina, are fighting over money all the time. And she's using one of the most expensive cameras, a Leica, just to take snapshots, which is almost like you almost get what you deserve. You know what I mean?
I don't endorse that message, but for the record.
This is not a Joker reference. But she uses a Leica, and which is interesting because you can kind of tell on some of the photos because the color is great in a lot of them, but they're just snapshots. So she's using this kind of boutique camera for just snapshots. And so there's everything about their life is so manicured. And so the aesthetics are perfect. He's got a great job as an artist.
Well, he runs his own company.
He runs his own company, his own design company. And their little son is precocious. But he's also an example of that kind of parasocial, just because he's right. He's got this idea of who Sai is based on just knowing him from the Save Mart.
I think that's pretty common for kids, though, in that like they're kind of exploring their own emotions, so they're hyper aware of other people's.
Well, he can actually. I take that back. He can see what we see.
Mm-hmm.
He
breaks
see
the veil, right? Yeah.
And Nina does her best to dissuade him from thinking that Sai is some kind of pathetic, sad loser with nothing going for him.
She clearly doesn't believe that, though. Otherwise, she wouldn't have, like, actually given him the time of day in the food court. Like, clearly she's a little annoyed by him.
I don't know.
Because she didn't feel comfortable talking on the phone in front of him, right?
I think that she is fulfilling the social contract.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's I don't know if she's annoyed. I don't even know if she's uncomfortable. But she doesn't.
Maybe I was just
like we're
projecting.
right on the line.
Yeah.
Especially in the food court thing. But every time she's about to process it, Sai does something that makes him seem like a person with a deep interior life.
Right.
He's reading that book. He's quoting the book.
Mm-hmm. But it's all based on what he thinks she wants to hear, which again goes back to that photography thing he said, with everyone crafts that image, right?
He gives Jake a free camera for his birthday.
But then again goes way too far and gives him the free toy.
He goes to his soccer game. He goes to this kid that is just a customer's son.
Wasn't it practice?
Oh, soccer practice. Yeah. He goes to his soccer practice where he is not a great soccer player. And
Stop. He's excellent.
Go,
Jacob, go.
So let me set up the scene here. Will, the father, had been in Save Mart looking for something. And Sai walks up to him. And it's like, hey, it's you. I know you. I've seen you in the pictures.
Yeah.
And the guy's just like, can you help me? Oh, it's a good family you got there. Okay. Can you help me, though? Is Jake here? Is your son here? I need help.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jake walks up, and this is a great director insert, because there's no way this suburban child from Who Gives a Fuck Suburbia, Who Gives a Fucksville, is into Neon Genesis Evangelion. Absolutely not. No way that this 8-year-old is into the complex lore of that. But he walks up and he's to Sai, and he's got this thing, and he apparently wasn't allowed to get it. It's one of the mech suits, one of the angels. And he wasn't allowed to get it. So Sai takes it upon himself to buy it for him. And he goes to this kid's soccer practice, offers to bully the coach for telling him that his shot was bad, and then walks with him about a mile to his car and tries to give him this angel, give him this toy. And this kid, to be fair, knows better.
Yeah.
Because he is like, absolutely not. I cannot take this. My parents will be like, what the hell?
He said it, I mean, he did it in that kid way of like, I don't think I should take this. I can't do that.
Right. And Sai barely understands in that kid way because he's a child. Mm-hmm. And we'll get into that later with like, there's only in the last 3 minutes is there some kind of implication of a history of him. But it's clear that he's a child. He's never grown out of his temper tantrums. He's never grown out of his inability to connect with people. And it's clear that he's trying to reclaim his love of pictures or photography because of, photos that were taken of him as a young kid. But this kid is like, I can't do this. And you can almost kind of see Sai breaking.
Right.
Because he was trying to make this connection. He connected with the mom.
Well, he set up the shot and the shot didn't go, right?
Exactly. It's a great way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
He set it up and it was ruined.
Mm-hmm.
It was ruined by reality.
Mm-hmm.
Just like there's another scene where he parks outside of their house, and this is another great misdirect scene, where it makes it seem like he walks in the house, and he walks around.
I couldn't watch it. It made me so uncomfortable.
He wears Will's tracksuit. He hangs out on the couch, drinks a beer, talks to the dog, and makes it you have no idea it's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then the people walk in, and you're like, he's caught. And they're like, hey, Si, thought you were going out today. Guess not. And then it goes back to him just staring in his car. Shortly after that, he's fired. And kind of this is the breakdown. He can't connect with Nina. He can't connect with the kid. Now he's no longer allowed to connect with his customers.
Mm-hmm.
He is snapping.
And that's the interesting thing too, is we only see it from his perspective. So there are certain times where you relate to him, even if you don't want to, because you see how unsettling he is, and you see how uncomfortable he can make people through stepping that boundary, right? And then you find yourself going, oh, well, he's just, we understand him better than the other people, right? Like, that manager didn't need to treat him like that because he's just going through a rough time. And that is the most eerie. That's the eeriest part of it, I think, is you put yourself in his headspace.
There is something so subtly powerful about Robin Williams' performance that you can't help but sympathize with the guy. And it goes out of its way with his later actions to make you feel bad for feeling bad.
Right. Like the Will scene at the end where like he basically traps Will and forces him to take pictures with his with the woman he's cheating with.
So the Will plot, the marriage plot, essentially Will is never around. He's always quote unquote at work. He's working hard for his family. And Cy takes some pictures from a woman who he thinks looks familiar.
Mm-hmm.
He goes through her photos and sees, and I don't know why they did this, but sees pictures of Will and her canoodling.
We were wild in the early 2000s.
Just wild. Just wild with those disposables.
Mm-hmm.
And Jake has dropped off the pictures he took with the disposable camera Cy gave him for his birthday. And so he takes those photos of Will cheating on his wife, stepping out on his family, and he puts them inside Jake's photos.
He puts one of them.
Is it just one? It's
yeah,
just
it's
one photo.
And it's like it's one of the most obscene ones, too, where it's like, Jesus, that kid was just going through the pictures, and then he just sees just his dad making out with the topless woman. That's cool.
And he follows the family. He follows Nina home.
That was
just to
so
see her reaction
unsettling.
as they're driving, and he pulls up behind her.
He was going to go out. Like that was the most unsettling part of it, right? Is like you get to see from the stalker perspective, right?
Mm-hmm. I did now. So she takes them. They're going through the photos. Then she pulls off to the side of the road. Cy's following. Also pulls off to the side of the road. Did Jake see Cy?
Jake saw it in the mirror.
Did he see that it was Cy though?
He recognized the car, yeah, because he meant
from the Evangelion scene, from the soccer scene.
Right.
But he says nothing.
Probably because he doesn't know what to like. There's probably so much happening, right?
Right.
Like, how would he bring up that? Oh, Cy's behind us.
Right. But
he could have, but I think
there's not a lot of two and two being put together because how would that photo get in there? Mm-hmm. The only person who could do that is Cy.
I think she had an idea. She had to have.
And so so he follows them home and is watching just to see if they implode as a result of the information, and things are as normal.
Mm-hmm.
Things just go normally.
I don't know. Also, that's an interesting. I just caught myself. I'm talking about them as if it's a true event, right? I'm like, oh, Nina had to have known, right? Even though the plot didn't say like she had any idea, right? But there's something about it that's so. It feels like we actually looked in on their life, right?
There is something about the cinematography and the way that this thing is edited that makes it the outside world shuts off when I'm watching this thing. There is something. Mark Romanek is such a talented visualist, and it's not complicated stuff. It's just the way that he uses lights, the way that he uses color, the way that he says a lot with very little. Again, this thing is 90 minutes long. It doesn't spend an incredible amount of time creating complex lives for these people, but there's just enough conversation, and there's just enough. There's no useless exposition. The conversations they're having are intense, short but intense, and they imply their entire lore. Mm-hmm. It's all laid out pretty easily, and it's very easy to believe that they're actual people.
Right.
It felt like.
Well, I mean, they seem like families everyone knows.
That's why it's
right?
It's a familiar family dynamic. It is the quintessential perfect family that we all, envisioned when we were like, why are our parents like this? Why can't they be like so-and-so?
Right.
And that's what Psy thought that they were. The perfect family. The perfect nuclear family unit that he wanted to be a part of because they fulfilled a fantasy of his for a background that was stolen from him.
Right. I mean, we mentioned this earlier. It is interesting how it does seem more voyeuristic in the movie, even though we are scrolling through Instagram. And, I know, just earlier today, my friend Greta and I, we got the Facebook notification that we've been friends for 16 years, whatever. And it's like, oh, I wonder how she's doing, right? And I can just go directly to her Instagram and be like, oh, yeah, she's doing great, right?
That is why watching it now is so interesting, because he's just doing what we do on our phones.
Right.
Now, we're complicit in we feel bad for him. That's what I find so interesting, is the way it makes you complicit in your sympathy. In your sympathy, it makes you complicit in what happens later.
Right.
Because you felt bad for him. You feel sadness for him. Mm-hmm. And then you kind of are angry at Will. With him. Right. You're like, why are you breaking up this happy home? And for her? Well,
right.
She's so that slut.
Well, and also
that Jezebel.
That's a really good point, because I am on this Facebook page because I work from home. That's basically is the guy I'm dating married, right? The whole point of the Facebook page is to say oh, yes, this guy is married. Oh, no, he seems like a nice guy, though, right? Mm-hmm. And as soon as people find out that the person is married, they go through and they, find pictures of him and his wife. They go and do this kind of stuff. It's the same kind of thing that Psy does, right? But it's just digital now, and it's in a community versus just a single person.
There's almost a righteous indignation, justified righteous indignation on the part of Psy, where he's like, I just want to see this family happy.
Well, right.
I want to get this family back together, and I'm going to be a sword of justice for them.
It's just old school doxing, right? It's acoustic doxing, if you will.
Sure, analog doxing. Uh-huh. Yeah. So what happens is, he finds out that Will is cheating on his wife with someone from work, and he follows them to a hotel room because he's fired. We've been unemployed.
He's off the chain. He's lost it. His marbles are rolling away.
It's so hard to his marbles are lost. Hook reference, sort of. He's unemployed. We've all been unemployed. You just become untethered. You gotta find a hobby. Mm-hmm. So his hobby now is getting revenge for Nina. And getting the
hyper focusing on this poor family.
Also getting a little bit of revenge on the manager by taking pictures with a Cat and Cool pics of his daughter, and then going to Save Mart where he's not allowed, and getting the pictures developed by the guy, the young man that he mentored in developing photos.
And that's when I first saw that movie.
So that he can take the manager. So the manager can see them. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
When I first saw that movie, I remember maybe 10 years ago when I first saw this.
Mm-hmm.
I laughed at that. I was like, ah, ha, 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 ha. But this time...
Whoa. Why'd you laugh?
I don't know.
Would you laugh at particularly?
I have no idea.
That he took the pictures and sent them to the manager?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's a pretty funny revenge. Fuck you, dude.
Especially for somebody who's so beige. Like, it was kind of a relief to see, like, a sense of fighting for something that isn't for this fucking family.
Yeah.
And it's something outside of the family, too. It's a life outside of the family, even if it is really creepy vengeance, unsettling, but this time...
Fuck you, Lumberg.
But this time, I got that feeling in my chest, that circle feeling where you're like, this is danger. Oh, no. That's like, ugh.
I think what was interesting is there's almost this tendency to kind of like, when I start watching it, we've been talking about how like we have sympathy for him, we feel bad for him and everything, but there's this kind of, I'm already in mocking. Right. When you see him, look at this goofy little fuck. Look at this goofy guy.
I immediately
but like,
felt bad for him.
It falls off almost immediately.
Yeah.
Because the way that, again, Romanek shoots the way that he approaches every single aspect of his life, because he has an adult life, but every part of it is just dripping with desperation.
The gerbil. That's after
Jesus Christ.
At the end of the movie.
Metaphor.
At the end of the movie, I was like, what happened to the gerbil, though? I was so upset. I was like, I hope because it's not like somebody's going to stop in by his apartment, right? Who's he got?
I love this idea that, like, the one pet this guy has is the thing with a hamster wheel. Fantastic. Just running around in circles.
With a way too small cage, by the way.
Yeah. With a way too small cage, yeah.
Call PETA.
So he,
Don't call PETA.
Yeah, please
we don't
leave
get
those
PETA.
people alone. They are...
Don't get PETA
Talk
involved.
about an organization that had a head start on the moral fight and just blew their lead every chance they got. What a terrible organization.
Yeah.
So, whoa, you gotta save the animals. Also, come to our kill shelters.
Yeah, let's gather these animals and then euthanize all of them.
Right.
Psychos.
Yeah. So his new hobby is following them around. After the revenge, he gets this hobby and he follows them to the hotel. What happened here? Oh, yeah, she got the pictures. She got the picture. Why did she call the cops again? I forget why she called the cops.
Shoot. Why did she call the cops? Something set her off. Oh, because the FBI came to her door and said that they found the wall, essentially. The wall of photos, and then they handed her the picture.
Yeah.
With his face scratched out.
We'll back up here, yeah. So he's mad at Will, and he meticulously scratches out his face, and his thousands of photos on his wall.
Probably the creepiest part of the movie. That is because that shows the vengeance, right?
Oh, I love that scene too, because he's on his ladder and it's like snowing.
Right.
It's just the random snow of scratched off print.
But that's the point where I think most rational people lose sympathy for him, right? Because it goes from being creepy but hopefully harmless to clearly not harmless.
Right. So the manager, Lumberg, gets the photos, calls the police. The police get a warrant for Cy's home, and then they see all of the pictures of the Yorkins. Mm-hmm. And I think they saw a receipt or something that had their name on it. So
identified by the holiday card.
The holiday card. That's right. They go to the Yorkins, tell them they're in danger. Will is at the hotel with his mistress, and Cy, very cleverly actually, finds his way in there, finds the hotel number, and gets a hotel room near there, and then busts in with a knife that he stole on his way out after he was fired. Mm-hmm. Busts in with a knife and forces them into a bunch of incredibly humiliating positions and seems to take photos of them to humiliate them. The police show up. They bust into the room. He left his camera, but he's running. What's one of my favorite scenes? Watching him run down all of these randomly colored hallways and watching him run down the ramp. He gets caught. This is one of my favorite scenes. one of my favorite shots in the movie is when he puts his hand up, and it's the spotlight's on him for the first time, like he's finally being seen, and it's for all the wrong reasons, and his eyes are terrifying.
Well, it shows the real, right? Like it.
He
can't craft the picture.
Yeah. And then he gets caught. This is great too. The cops are played by Eric LaSalle and an early Clark Gregg, who would be Agent Coulson later on in the MCU.
For those who are familiar.
Have you heard about this?
This little thing called Marvel. Little boutique.
There is, and then he goes on this rant to the detective about how you would never break up your family. You would never take pictures of your children. Horrible pictures. And it's kind of, so I find this a little bit cheap because I kind of already knew that he had a bad home life.
Right.
And it's kind of this late stage explanation for his behavior comes off as rushed. But I feel it's the only way. So then he asked to see his photos, which the detective has resisted. The photos that he took in the hotel room. And they're all
small details,
abstracts essentially of the hotel room,
of like the furniture and
the corner of the furniture, a towel rack.
Nothing human at all. Not even like a tidge.
There's not a trace of humanity in them. Which goes to show that either he's a great artist who never knew how to express himself, or he's a terrible artist who doesn't know how to actually use the camera.
I can think of several Instagram accounts right now who their wall is basically Psy. It's Psy-core.
Psy would have an infuriatingly twee, I think, Instagram page. He would have one of those like insufferable aesthetic grids that's like 6 photos, even though there's 100 pictures. That's just like laid out, and it's all just the corner of a fucking towel rack. I hate all of you, and I want you to get a life.
Oh, bless you guys.
Yeah, there you go. But so that's, and he lays them out just exquisitely. He just looks at them, and he's so proud of them because they're his photos. They're his. There's something is his. Because that's one of the things that it shows is he doesn't take a single. The only time he starts taking photos, he actually takes his own photos, is when he starts down his path of revenge.
Right.
And his justice run.
That's a great point. Yeah, because we don't see him take. He knows about cameras, right? But that's to help his customers.
He knows about developing. He knows about color science and color theory. But he doesn't take any photos of his own.
Not that we've seen, at least.
He only uses them to stalk. And in fact, it's one of his voiceovers. When he starts down this path, he gives the history of the phrase snapshot. And it was original, and best line reading. Snapshot was originally a hunting term, and he's stalking Lumberg's daughter.
Zooming in.
Every picture, there's like 20 pictures, and each one is just zooming in. Like a hunter. Like a hunter, exactly. And it's horrifying. It is funny that it's amusing to me that IMDb calls it an erotic thriller.
Yeah, I don't really understand why.
There's nothing erotic. Because it's a neurotic thriller, maybe, but it's right on the verge of skin crawling horror.
Right.
But it's not.
But it's also like sanitized. Like it's not sanitized with how horrific it is, but like when you look at his apartment, it's meticulous and beige, right? Like
there's nothing.
I'm not
out of
sure
place,
what
there's nothing to be out of place. He has one chair, one TV,
which he has across from him on his dining room table, which shows that he never has people over.
He has his CRT TV, his little chunky buddy, sitting on his dining room table. But he has the essentials. He has two TVs, one that he sits, one in the living room, one in the kitchen, and then he just has the wall. He has all of the pictures and almost no life.
And his gerbil.
And his gerbil, yes. The score is also excellent. The score is haunting, and it keeps up the tension. One thing I didn't know beforehand is that because Mark Romanek had directed so many of Nine Inch Nails and Trent Reznor's videos, Trent Reznor was actually, this was supposed to be his first, because he did the score for Lost Highway, kind of. He was the music coordinator, and he did some songs as Nine Inch Nails. But this was supposed to be the first time that he did a score for a movie, and the studio basically insisted that they get a real composer, which is very funny considering 8 years later he would make a generation-defining score for The Social Network.
He would have been perfect for this.
He would have been perfect for it. There's some themes of it on the still side of All That Could Have Been, a double album that came out that same year. It was mostly a live album, but there was another side called Still, which has some of his themes from it.
That makes sense.
I would have loved to have heard that. I think it'd be an interesting experiment to rescore it that way. So that's the movie. Like it just turns out to be incredibly sad.
Mm-hmm.
And but
in this, like, you almost feel grimy at the end because you spent so much time sympathizing with him, right?
He's doing wrong, but he's doing it for what he feels are the right reasons. He feels like he's been wronged by Lumbergh. He feels like he's been wronged by, and that's the parasocial aspect of it. He feels like he's a part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
He feels like Will has stepped out on him.
Right. On Uncle Si.
Like, what are you doing? He's just trying to keep the family together. Like, they love each other. How dare you, Will?
Right.
Yeah, it's a haunting, beautiful thing that is made by people who clearly cared. And it's one of those cries for help a little bit, where Robin Williams was showing you a side of himself, not just to challenge himself, but to show you who he is when he's not giving you everything you demand of him. And yet we still demanded more of him as time went on.
And I think we do that with a lot of celebrities, too. I mean, Chappell Rowan is the first person to really, in recent memory, a lot of celebrities have spoken out on it. I guess Prince did, too. But Chappell Rowan is speaking out about it pretty aggressively right now.
Yeah. I
agree with her.
I would argue. I think that a lot of times artists reach out through their art as cries for help. I've been of the opinion for some time now that after My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, which is an excellent Kanye album, he released Yeezy, which is him basically screaming and letting, like, it is the manic depression album.
Mm-hmm.
Because the beats are aggressive, they're violent, they're angry. His vocals are aggressive and violent and angry. He is telling you that he is in pain. He is telling you that he needs to be spoken to, that he needs to talk to somebody, that people need to reach out. He's telling you how much pain he's in. And we were just like, wow, wow, what a good album. He almost didn't release it because he was so overwhelmed by his life at the time that he turned it in late. And it almost didn't get released, and it has the qualities of a scattered, broken person. But we're like, damn, Yeezy, you did it again, dude.
I know.
Damn, dude. And I think it's a great album, but it is so out of left field. Not in the way that like 808s and Heartbreaks was, where it was like, okay, you're just going to do an entire auto-tune singing album about the death of your relationship and the death of your mother, which I think irrevocably broke him.
Right.
But Yeezy is a cry for help, and we completely ignored it. And we just continued ignoring that this man who was having a public meltdown in public. But he's been telling people the whole time that this is an incredibly difficult life to live. But Robin Williams... Now, I read that originally Jack Nicholson was supposed to play, though they offered it to Jack Nicholson.
That wouldn't have worked, I don't think, because he was known for, like, he would have done The Shining thing.
Well, he didn't do it because he's like, I already did this with The Shining.
Right.
That wouldn't have worked at all.
Mm-hmm.
The movie wouldn't have the legacy that it has.
Right.
If it hadn't been Robin Williams. He was perfect for it. The supporting cast is great too. I love... there's little appearances by people that would be popular later. Jim Rash from Community, the guy that played the dean in Community, is the small pornographer when Cy is explaining what kinds of photographers there are. Connie Nielsen from Gladiator is in it, is Nina. Michael Vartan, which is I don't remember him from anything else. He's like you don't know who this is either probably, but like he's a Kirkland brand Ed Burns.
Yeah, I know.
Who was like an indie darling and had that chiseled skinny look. Like a Guy Pearce.
That they all had in that late 90s.
I think they were all kind of market corrected by Patrick Wilson, who was in the Conjuring films. But he was also in Todd Field's Little Children around this time, like in 2006, 2007. And he kind of replaced all the skinny, bland white dudes.
He truly did a service, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He
took it on himself.
Yeah.
To consolidate, as businesses will say.
Again, Gary Cole is in it. Eric LaSalle is in it. All these people that would go on, and you'd see them who had pretty interesting careers after this. But you don't remember any of them.
Right.
You remember Robin Williams.
But it's not a Robin Williams film. And that's the interesting part, right? It doesn't seem like it. He's Sal.
It's not Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, he's Cy.
That's the thing. It's not Mrs. Doubtfire. It's not Aladdin. It's not Good Will Hunting. Like, he's done serious roles before. What Dreams May Come. Good Will Hunting. We've talked about this before. But this is the first time that he played a downright bad guy. He is a bad man. But he's so sad that it's almost balanced out. Like, is he a bad man, or is he just a lonely... is this just what happens when people are discarded at the edge of society? Like, is he... From the dialogue at the end of the film, it's very clear that his father abused him, took pictures of him, discarded him. He has no family. He has no life. He has no love. There's no affection in his life. Did society make him? Like, is this, as he's, he sort of ruined these people's lives, disrupted these people's lives, but in all honesty,
Will might not be okay.
They kind of needed it.
The Will thing might be fucked up forever.
Right, but now I'm not saying this because I think it. I'm just, is the family better now?
Yeah,
because
I don't know.
They had the hard conversations they needed to have. He broke up the affair. He got the family back together.
But for the
trauma,
picture,
will the trauma inform that marriage, or will it destroy that marriage?
Right. Cy just wanted to get the picture back together, right? It's not like it's reality. It's just he just wanted to get that holiday picture back together.
Exactly.
He could be Uncle Cy in his fantasy.
He was so caught in the fantasy. Yeah, and it's not like anyone else learned a lesson. It's not like Lumbergh learned a lesson.
No.
It's not like the
Lumbergh was objectively creeped out, and rightfully so, right? He's just not going to take a chance on any creepy guys ever again, which is relatable.
Yeah, but you don't know they're creepy until they're creepy.
There's the subtle boundary stuff where they just say something where you're like, oh, you clearly did a deep dive on me before, and that's unsettling.
But he didn't do that with him. He only did that to that family, to the Yorkins. He never did that to any other family.
I suppose.
He was friendly to other people, but he never said anything about anybody else. He didn't imply that he knew anything about the manager's life. He didn't imply that he knew anything about Yoshi's life.
How did he know where his manager lived? I mean, I guess you could find that out through documentation in Save Mart.
Yeah. That's a very good question. It implies that he had done some research.
Yeah. But we just didn't see it because it wasn't part of...
Didn't seem to have the internet. So this is a guy that's doing all of this hard work, knowing where people live just through context clues and research.
Well, I think
he's very dedicated.
I mean, that's a really good point. I think that's what makes this a little bit creepier, because it's so much easier to do that now, right? In that, like, you could just figure that stuff out online. And I know I've been a dumbass online where maybe I've shared a little bit too much that might reveal something,
Oh my God, I was an oversharer.
Yeah. And you look back on that now and you're like, oh my God, why would I do that? Why would I do that?
Well, I mean, so I'm not going to say that I've been Cy lonely. I don't think any of us. I don't think I can relate to that. I've been lonely though, and a lot of the oversharing on, like, if I'm writing an essay on Facebook, I need you to like it. I need you to tell me that I'm a good special boy with good words.
But again, it's part of because it's the picture that you're crafting, right?
But it's
and
also,
you want people to accept it.
It is an expectation that I set for myself by putting my work out there. Everyone kind of does that. Threads now is crazy. It was like that on Twitter, and it's very much like that on X now. But like, engagement bait is literally the lonely reaching out for engagement.
It's so lonely.
Hey guys, you ever think this thing is underrated? You know what I hate? This thing. Tell me your thoughts.
My side is a lot of like, oh, I'm moving to Wisconsin soon. Does anybody want to meet up? It's like, like what? What?
Well, that seems like you're just rejecting friendship.
Well, if somebody's posting to a public platform, I'm not following this person, right? Like, I've seen a few of them where it'll tag all of the state of Wisconsin, and it will say, oh, I just moved to Wisconsin. Does anybody want to meet up? Either that's a serial killer or a very, very naive person.
I mean,
right?
I guess
I get the message.
Age, sort of. When I was a kid, I used to move around like every 6 months.
Yeah.
And I would literally just walk door to door and be like, yo, you got kids?
But at least you knew where those people lived, right? Like, if that's not like that. Like, when you think about there's the dude who dismembered the girl in Milwaukee recently. The guy who was going on dating sites, and then he ended up dismembering the girl.
That dude that looked like the lead singer of, like...
the creepiest bartender of all... He worked at Victor's.
Yeah.
Which is, like, that should have already... Don't victim blame.
Don't victors blame.
No, but she was young. Like, she was just... Everyone's been there where, like... You're a little dumb and you're like, oh, I'll take a chance, right? Like, I'll be wild and free and young, and you just can't do that anymore.
Well, I think that what's happened
Maybe
is
I'm getting old.
Online dating has become what hitchhiking used to be.
Yeah.
You used to be able to just hitchhike, man.
Yeah.
You could put your thumb up and get a ride from someone, and they wouldn't murder you.
Right.
Sometimes they would murder you.
But there are so many stories. Maybe I'm just on the wrong side of the true crime shit, but...
But the dating game, like, online dating also didn't used to really be overwhelmed by people who were scamming and killing, robbing, and hurting like this. And I don't think, I think you could still hitchhike, and I think that you can still online date, and I think a lot of people do it successfully. But now I can tell you from friends I have who are doing online dating, it is different than it was when it first became the normal way to interact and meet people and go out with people. Everyone is so lonely that they've developed their own set of personality armor. Everyone either expects too much or expects too little.
Right. Like,
there's all of these rules that everyone's developed, and people have to fit into these parameters, these very specific parameters. There's no room for any deviation from that, or you don't get to know them. Right. A friend of mine who was online dating, they said maybe 4 sentences between each other, and this woman was insisting that he woo her.
Ew.
That he, like, treat her like a princess.
Well, I mean,
and it's like, you don't know me well enough to talk to me like that.
Yeah. To be fair, like, at least that weeds people out who won't. Like, I'm always torn on that, because I think, I mean, you know me, I'm usually pretty upfront, and I'll say I like giving all of the information right from the get so that you can proceed as you'd like, right? But if there's an expectation there that everyone should fulfill it versus just, this is what I'm looking for, what do you think? Right?
Right. There's a difference between the two. And on the men's side, too, because we're in a different generation now of people that have been raised by the toxic manosphere. And I don't want to have an argument about toxic masculinity with anybody in the comments, but, like, Andrew Tate has raised a bunch of people. Jordan Peterson has raised a bunch of people who are out here telling people, like, oh, what are you, 35 and don't have kids? Oh, gross. Don't you want to be a mom? Also telling you, oh, you're 35 and you have kids. No one wants to date a single mom.
Well, right.
Like, and so there's no value. Either,
like, trust me,
you put too much value on yourself, and you're undervaluing everybody else around you.
Right.
And so there's no middle ground where people are like, I'm pretty average and you're pretty average and let's try to meet in the middle.
Right.
Um,
We're a little off topic, but that's fine.
No, we're not, because we're talking about the profound loneliness that comes with living in a culture that demands so much information about you, demands to know everything about you, and then tell you that it's wrong.
Well, that is an interesting point, actually. Yeah, no, you're right. In that, like, if we're going to go back to the snapshot analogy, right?
Yeah.
Of, like, there's no way that you can give all of the information that somebody wants, right? While still maintaining that original snapshot that is, like, that distance, right? Like, when you first meet somebody, you want to be that snapshot. Is you don't want them to know your mom's maiden name. You don't want them to know about, like, unless you write a book about it or something like that, your deepest traumas.
Right. Available now.
But
this road must go somewhere. Available now in all bookstores. Anyways.
Yeah. That's one of those. That's kind of what I was talking about. Where, like, oh my God, why did I do that? Because I did get some emails saying, like, I think I told you about in New York City, somebody tried to propose to me, and it was like, because you connected with that snapshot.
I can fix her.
Yeah, but that's kind of the world we live in now, where it's like it's hyper lonely.
Influencer culture is entirely predicated on the idea that you are creating a false narrative so that other people buy your products.
Mm-hmm.
And those people are some of the most neurotic, lonely, angry, sad people alive. I'm not saying that they're like pathetic or that they're like sigh, but influencer culture is designed around creating this image of something that fundamentally does not exist.
And the internet is so obsessed with calling them out or like doxing them or being like, well, actually, you're not exactly this because this and this and this and this. It's like, well, did you expect them to be this perfect image? Like,
it's all reactionary.
Yeah.
The internet is now an Ouroboros of bullshit where it's like it's the information eating its own tail.
Right.
So someone comes out with a thing and they present an image of something.
Right.
Then you pretend like you're better than that and you tear them down, but you're still just as sad as they are because your entire life is dedicated. You're sigh, dude. When you dedicate your life to getting to know somebody else's fake thing, it's just so you can tear it down for the same amount of the same affection, the literal same traffic of affection that they were going for, you're no better than they are. There's a YouTube that I like called High Top Films. It's just the guy is a great writer and he's so enthusiastic about what he's watching, and he did not like Deadpool and Wolverine for a lot of the reasons that I didn't, because it's cloying,
because it's garbage.
It is pandering, cloying garbage with some good stuff in it. Like,
right.
You can, if I sit down, I'll watch it in the background. But he didn't like it, and he gave a really thorough analysis of that. And I get on YouTube one day, and there's somebody that I've never heard of who spends 45 minutes dissecting this guy's thing. And basically, I didn't listen to the whole thing. I listened to 10 minutes of it, and it's him like, you're so stupid. You didn't even fucking get it. You don't get it. This look at this guy. Look at him. He doesn't get this stuff. You know, it's not even for you, dude. It's the same discourse around like Joker and Joker 2. People hate Joker 2. I love Joker 2 because it is a reactionary. It's Todd Phillips did it to himself.
I'm really excited for it. Even though everyone who has seen it outside of you has told me,
well, it is because it is.
I'm excited.
The audacity of its pretentiousness. It makes us a bunch of choices that do not work, but it is a direct reaction. It tells you that if you like the first Joker for who he is, he created an image of Joker, and a bunch of people became fans of Joker. That character, Arthur Fleck. From that first movie, he created an impression of that. And the second movie tells you that you were silly, that you cared too much about this fake guy who was masking his mental illness with false bravado.
Oh, I love that.
And tells you that your obsession is wrong and that he's actually just a mentally ill guy who committed a bunch of crimes, and your worship of him is misplaced.
What won me over?
You need to grow the fuck up.
What won me over was the scene. It's just shown in the trailer. The scene where he's in the car, and it's like I think he's getting released from jail. I'm not sure, the trailer didn't tell me. Jeez. But he puts his hand on the window, and it's a bunch of people like saying like, yeah, Joker. But clearly he's the character we met in the first movie, right? And that's strange.
What do you mean?
As in, like, we met the character, like, I mean, back to Psy, right?
Bringing it back. That's why you're a great podcaster. Segue. Yeah.
We saw from his perspective of him, right? I mean, I've made fun of this scene several times because, like, it shows that he's not doing well because he can't write well, right? Like, because he has child's handwriting. And that was, like, that's not a teller of mental illness. There are several people who are incredibly intelligent who are mentally ill.
Are we talking about Joker?
Yes.
Yeah, no, Arthur Fleck is an idiot.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But they cast it as, like, mental illness, but, like, that doesn't make you childlike. That just makes you mentally ill, and
Right.
that presents in several forms. But that's the Arthur Fleck we know. And then to see the scene where he's being driven in that car, and there are people shouting his name and chanting his name, and we see the same hand that wrote that dumb set, right? That bombed. We see that hand on the window, like, basically, like, reaching out to them, right?
That's essentially what the second film is about. He's reaching out to people that don't understand him, that completely misinterpreted him.
Right.
He's looking for connection. Arthur Fleck actually has a lot in common with Psy, the photo guy, in that he is incredibly lonely.
Mm-hmm.
His life is bad. There is nothing to his life. He trudges through a job that he loathes. He trudges through a job that he enjoys,
Mm-hmm.
but outside of that job, he lives a very pathetic lifestyle.
Also very bland
and he
apartment.
takes revenge on the people who he thinks have wronged him, and he thinks that he's righteous in doing so.
In that childlike way.
The endings are different, and especially in this one, making a loose connection between 1 Hour Photo and Joker. But
No,
there
I could
is
see
one.
it.
Like, the main characters are childlike.
And it's from their perspective.
Pathetic, desperate, lonely men seeking connection through misplaced righteous indignation.
I would argue that Size is more realistic and more true to what humans actually are like, but that's my opinion.
Well, that's because, I mean, the Joker was retrofit.
A gross misunderstanding of mental health.
Well, that, and it was forced into a Batman story.
Yeah.
Into a Gotham story. And
right.
So they... I think that Joker as a character study is interesting, but if you want a more accurate version of that and want a more interesting version of that, and while it is a beautiful film, there's nothing. It's a shallow film, whereas 1 Hour Photo is not a shallow film. It is a very, it is deeper than its plot would indicate. I think it's a far more interesting film. It's a far more profound film about the difference, the thin line between mental illness and cultural. I don't know what I'm saying there. I think 1 Hour Photo is I think 1 Hour Photo is a much more profound example of where Psy is mentally ill, for sure. But he's also a product of culture. He is the living embodiment of the culture we live in still to this day. And it's mutated far beyond, evolved far beyond what he was experiencing at the time. But we're still there, and it's gotten worse, which is the point of this entire conversation. I can't recommend this film enough. I think it's one of the important films of the century. I think it might be one of Robin Williams' best movies. It's certainly enough to like justify Mark Romanek's entire career. He already was had an incredible career before it, but I think is one of those defining moments of a person's career. It's a beautiful film about an ugly man.
It's a beautiful film made by a photographer.
It is quintessentially a photographer's movie. If you ever see his he made one other movie. He's been in talks to make all sorts of movies, and he never got around to making them. But he did make Never Let Me Go.
That's right.
Ishiguro.
Yeah.
Sci-fi novel. He adapted that from a script by Alex Garland. Also a beautiful film, but in a completely different way. Yeah. 1 hour photo. I don't have much more to say about this. Please watch it. I know we kind of talked about all of it, spoiled it a little bit, but we didn't really spoil anything because it's a movie that begs to be experienced.
Yeah.
That begs to be felt. And begs for you to put your phone down and take in.
It's an experience film versus like if any of the spoilers were revealed, it wouldn't really change the experience of watching it, if that makes sense, because it's unsettling for the entire time.
And it is a movie that is unsettling in moments that aren't trying to. So that's a difference. And I'll bring up Joker again. Joker was trying to unsettle you. Joker was shot in such a way and made in such a way that you were supposed to go, wow, that's crazy.
But it really wasn't that crazy, and fuck Joker.
1 hour photo doesn't try to make you feel that way. It is all done because its quietest moments are its most powerful moments.
Right.
The explosion of violence that happens in the third act
and those moments
isn't shocking.
Oh, sorry.
It isn't shocking because of what you pick up during those quiet moments, and it isn't a deviation from what had been set up before. But its quieter moments are its more powerful moments. Again, extraordinary film.
It's eerie because of the way it connects with you versus the way that it deviates from you, right?
Explain.
In that, like, I mean, for a good portion of the movie, you do feel for dude.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's shot in first perspective or first person for a reason, I think. Or not first person, from his perspective. For a reason. For that unsettling, for that connection, for that moral gray area of like, oh my God, if I was in this situation, would I do that? I sure as fuck hope not, but would I? Because I'm sympathizing with him right now.
Because we've been lonely. You know, people, everyone that's listening to this has gotten lonely and stalked a dude on Facebook.
We all went through COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else?
That's it for me. I fucking love this movie. But I always feel like I leave with a film of grime on me.
Yeah.
And it's like the beige grime like the khaki grime. Ugh. And again, I just hope that hamster's doing well. Gerbil, hamster, whatever. Gerbil.
I hope the cop played by Eric LaSalle probably went to his house and took it. Yeah.
I fucking hope so.
Yeah.
Because it deserves the best. And it deserves a bigger cage. Anyway, that's my rant.
That's good. Good. It deserves Here's the thing. We all deserve a bigger cage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's...
I totally agree. All of us deserve a bigger cage.
Yeah.
Outside of, like, billionaires. They're fine. Smaller cage.
Their cage is just gilded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ooh, message. Okay, that's it for us. So thank you all for listening.
Thanks.
Again, for being here, for supporting us as we raise this little baby into the raging mutant it is to become.
It's gotten on tummy time now. It's rolling, so that's fun.
I'm Jason Hillman.
I'm Becky Franzel.
And this has been the Dead-Eyed Millennial
Film Club.
Oh my God. Get out of here.